Hey y'all, welcome to Sweet Tea and Butterflies. We are participating in the What Would You Make collaboration this month, and I made a fairy dream home. I was inspired. Well, anyway, let's do the What Would You Make. Our hosts are Brenda from Rustic and Lace and Divine Designs, and Farm Charm Chic is our guest host. So I was inspired to um to do this little fairy dream home by Amy over at the Singing Crafty Crafter. Um Formerly Bella's Bargains. She made the most awesome fairy house. Um and I was inspired to make my own. I have a friend who is going through cancer treatments, and they were having a benefit for her. So I made this to donate for the silent auction. So what I did was I took a Gatorade bottle, and as you saw, I drew a window and a door on there, so I knew where not to paint. I used Ivory by Waverly, the chalk paint, to paint the bottle, and I just pounced it on because you get better coverage that way. It wasn't important to get full, perfect coverage, as you'll see later, but I did need to get a decent amount of coverage on there. So next I took some air dry clay and rolled it out kind of thin, but not too thin. And then, well, it seems like it took forever to roll that out. My apologies. I thought I cut more of that out than I did. But anyway, so I rolled it out like that, and then I just grabbed what I had on hand, which was a paint bottle, to flatten that out. And what I'm doing here is, I'm going to cut that in half because it's spread out a little bit, more than what I wanted. This is, going to be my window. So I just cut it in half, cut down the middle of it. It doesn't have to be, when you're doing stuff like this, it doesn't have to be a perfect straight, clean cut. In fact, sometimes the more imperfect, the better. When you're making like a fairy home or whatever, because, well, I kind of use what they have on hand. So I just made the ring there, and then took and the other piece. I used the other half of that when I cut it in half. I'm using for the panes in the window, and just trying to get it lined up on there just right, and cut. So you can see there. And this particular air dry clay, I try to keep, oh, there's Smokey making an appearance. With this particular air dry clay, I try to, as soon as I pull a piece off, put it back in the package, because it really doesn't take a whole lot of time for it to start drying, which affects its workability. So I took a little bit of the Dollar Tree super glue wood glue, and put it on. And I realized that I had kind of put it on off kilter, so I had to turn it a little bit, which then smushed glue. into the panes that I wanted clear. So I just took a paintbrush and cleaned them out. Oh, look, Smokey's looking up, almost like she knew she was being filmed. She often sits and watches TV with me, too. It's funny. She'll sit on my legs and just, you can see her kind of cocking her head side to side, watching, what's going on the TV. It's actually kind of cute. So now I used a lot of air dry clay in this project, so now I'm working on trying to make the door. I'm just trying to get kind of a basic shape there, and then I just put it on here and held it in place to cut it down. And I just cut the sides down. I left the rounded top and then cut the bottom off. I was trying to find something to use to punch a hole out for the window in the door, and the little pink finger protectors that you get from Dollar Tree was the perfect size for that. So that's what I did. And then I used the same glue to put it on the bottle. And I've only got this one project for you this time, because this one was kind of, it took a lot more to do this project, so I didn't want to make my video too long. I try to keep my videos shorter when I'm in a playlist, so that everybody, it increases the ability for everybody in the playlist to get views. If the videos that are in the playlist are too long, then sometimes people navigate off of that, and other people don't get watched. So I took my X-Acto and used it to make like wood grain marks in the window and the door. And now I am working on making a kind of a brick pattern. I almost put it in there without cornstarch, and that would have been, that would have been bad. I still had a couple of spots where I had issues getting it out of there, but it would have been much, much worse if I had not caught myself in time. So I just used that same paint bottle to kind of roll that in there. I was hoping I had enough clay to fill that whole tray, but I didn't. I had to snag another piece out of there. But that's okay. So while I'm working on this, I just want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I really appreciate every time you watch and comment on a video, share my videos. It really helps my channel grow. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. I'm trying to get back in the swing of things with Christmas and tax stuff going on. I haven't posted as much as I would like to. Haven't crafted as much as I would like to. So hopefully I can get back into the swing and start getting back in these collaborations and having some fun. See, here's where I had to struggle a little bit with a couple spots on there. And also, don't forget, with the collaboration, the playlist link will be in my description box, as will the host and the co-hosts' links to their channels will be in my description box as well. All right, so that one piece was not quite long enough to wrap all the way around, so I did another smaller piece to kind of get it to go all the way around. And I just used the same glue from Dollar Tree to put these on to adhere them. I haven't had any issues with this glue not holding, so I know it says it's super glue wood glue, but it seems to work on quite a bit of stuff. So that's good. I haven't had any issues with it not adhering to other things besides wood. Pardon me. So I just got those lined up and sorry about that, y'all. I got the pieces lined up and glued on there. It's not perfect where they meet up, but I fixed that. I kind of disguised that in the end. And I just kind of looked for any spots where I might have missed with the glue. I didn't want it to, pardon me, I've got a tickle in my throat. I didn't want to put too much glue on there where I ended up, with it oozing out. So now I'm working on my stand that, this is going to go on, and I use the Waverly Ivory again. So now we are going to paint the bricks, and this is Barn Red by Apple Barrel that I use to paint the bricks. And I don't make you watch me paint the whole thing, just a little bit of it. And as you'll see, I'm trying to take it kind of light where you can still see white in where the stucco, is it stucco that they put in there? Whatever, where the bricks are spaced out and whatnot. I left that white. And then for the door and the window, I used nutmeg. And I didn't make you watch me do all that painting either. But I used the nutmeg for the door and the window, and then went back in and dry brushed. First with the ivory for a little bit of highlight. And then after I got done using the ivory, I mixed a little bit of black in with the ivory to make a gray color for shadowing. And I did that on the bricks, the door, the window, all of it. And it just, when you layer paint like that, when you do, it helps add dimension and it makes it pop a little bit more. Gives it more definition and whatnot. Oh, I didn't even, I guess I didn't show doing the gray. But I did. So now that the ivory is dry on my stand, I'm using a little bit of Waverly antique wax to distress it and give it like a little bit of a dirty look. So I mainly painted it to cover up the yellow from the lemon, and then I used the antique wax to give it more of to make it look a little bit more like the ground wood with a more brownish tone than just white. So here I'm using some pardon me. Oh, this tickle in my throat's killing me, y'all. Sorry. Anyway, so I'm using some moss that I got. I believe I got this at Walmart. I'm not really a huge fan of this particular moss for most things, but it actually works well for this project. It's kind of a brown moss, and it's in, little pieces and stuff. It's not like the Spanish moss. And it is messy, messy, messy. But anyway, I put that all around the bottle. I started with, around the door where the brick didn't quite meet up with the door and whatnot. Did it all around the bottle, and I also put some down where the two pieces of clay with the brick met up, and then just in various places between the bricks to kind of make it look, old, and, like this is an old fairy home. It's been around a while. All, all the goodies growing out of different little crevices and stuff like that. Yeah, you see all that on my mat. This stuff is a nightmare mess. I had it all over the place. But I went in and just, looked for any spots where I missed any after I got the majority of it done. I looked for any spots that looked like I might have missed some and just kind of patched them up. Then I took a piece of cardboard and I used the lid for the Gatorade bottle to trace and cut out that circle in the middle of this piece of cardboard. And here I'm just pulling the a layer off to expose the corrugation. And if you do that from just the right side of it and in the right direction, it comes off fairly clean. I have seen other crafters, struggle with it, trying to get it off of there, and they actually, sometimes some of the cardboard's going to be easier than others to get it off of there. But I did find, God, let me get a drink here. Anyway, I did find that if you pull it off where the corrugation is running horizontal, not vertical, that it seems to come off cleaner. And there's usually one side of the cardboard is usually easier to get a hold of that top layer to get it started. So look for that and try to pull it off where the corrugation is horizontal, not vertical. And you'll have better luck at getting it pulled off of there cleanly. Alright, so I have a mold that has like a rock pattern, as you can see there. And I use the clay to make a little rock path up to the door. And I think I glued it on there using the same wood glue. And as you can see from my stand there, that one side of that I got had some issues with the wet wipe pulling the paint off when I was doing the antique wax. But it's not going to show when I get done. What am I putting on? Oh. So, because I could not find the piece of wood I was looking for to use for this, so I used this half lemon slice riser, and I didn't want the bottle to take up the entire thing, so I set it kind of halfway on there, and then I used some of those little cubes from Dollar Tree as a stand on the back, so that I still had some space on my in my yard, so to speak, to put some decorations and stuff up. So that's what I did. I have a gnome, I have a fairy, and I have a little sign that has arrows on it pointing one direction saying gnomes, the other saying fairies. So I'm gluing all of those on there. And you'll see those better in the final reveal. But I used a little bit of the super glue, wood glue, and some hot glue. The wood glue is for long-term hold. The hot glue is for instant hold. And now I'm just taking and using some of the black and the ivory to make a gray, to make another gray paint, because the other had dried up by the time I got to doing this, so I had to mix some more. And that's what I used for my stones once I got it mixed up. And my black paint is really, really thick, so I knew I couldn't just get like a little drop in there, so that's why I kind of squirt. I put some off to the side and use my paintbrush to collect it and add it to the ivory. I just take and do a real quick coat on the rocks, and again, I left the spaces between the rocks. I left a lot of the white in there for the caulking, this whatever you would call it. Yeah, I'm not sure. As soon as I get done with this, it'll hit me. But anyway, and then I took that same brown moss, and I also had some green moss. So I went around the yard, so to speak, and placed the moss around there. And then went in and did little spots with the green. I didn't show doing every bit of the moss on here, because this actually took me, putting the moss on both the bottle and on the riser actually took the longest amount of time. And it's always so much fun when you get the glue, because you're trying to tap it down there in the glue, and then you get like glue strings, and it was a mess, but I got it done. I also off camera took a string of lights and put it down in the bottle, and ran the cord for the lights along the back side of the roof and down, and attached it on the bottom of the riser so that my little fairy house lights up. And I also took some, I had put the roof on, and then now I'm just wrapping jute around the remainder of the neck of the bottle so that it blends in better. But after I put the lights in, I took some polyfill and hot glue and made it look like there was smoke coming out of the chimney. That was the most obvious way to kind of cover up the hole in the bottle. The mouth of the bottle. That's the word I'm looking for. But again, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers, and I am so sorry. I've got some tickle in my throat that's driving me crazy. But thank you to all of my subscribers for supporting my channel, and I would love it if any of the newcomers would like and subscribe, comment, share. If there's somebody that you know that might enjoy watching my content. And we're on to the final reveal. Where, as you can see here, I've got a side-by-side picture with it not lit up and then with it lit up. And here's the little fairy, the sign, the walkway, and the little gnome is off to the other side. I've always wanted to do like a little fairy garden thing and whatnot, and but anyway, thanks so much for watching.